Now let's try this. Now walk up to me from there.
Okay. And do the same thing?
And do the same thing.
Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So tonight, Jermell Charlo, he gets a vicious knockout in the second round over Hugo Centeno. He is now the WBC mandatory challenger for Gennady Golovkin's belt. So the question is, what does Gennady Golovkin think about Jermell Charlo after this performance? What did he think about Jermall before this performance? And will he fight and defend his WBC title, his belt? Will he defend that belt and fight? Will he give up the belt just to avoid a Charlo fight? Or will he just retire to avoid a Charlo fight? To give you an idea of what's in Gennady Golovkin's mind right now, going back to the Ward versus Kovalev rematch, after Ward stopped Kovalev immediately following that win, Gennady Golovkin issued a statement and he said, "I may retire after the Canelo fight." He said, "Every fight is difficult." He said, "My family, they want me to retire," or his wife or something like that. But he definitely said, every fight is difficult. And since English is not Gennady Golovkin's first language, the interpretation could be he believes that the fights have gotten more difficult. So the question is, if he believes the fights before were difficult, then it's more than obvious that Golovkin believes Charlo would be even more difficult. I've been telling you guys for quite some time now, the walls have been closing in on Gennady Golovkin. Before, he had #1 mandatories like Dominic Wade, Willie Monroe. He was fighting fighters like Adama, Marco Antonio Rubio. Now, all of his mandatories are tough challenges. There's no more Adamas left. There's no more Rubios. There's no more Monroes. There are no more Wades. But there is still Canelo, if he fights Canelo in September. But after Canelo, where does Golovkin go from there? Once again, the WBC #1 contender for Golovkin is Jermell Charlo. Danny Jacobs versus Zaleski, the winner, is a mandatory for Gennady Golovkin. The undefeated Ukrainian fighter, Sergey Derenyevchenko, he is a mandatory for Gennady Golovkin. And then you have the WBO champion, BJ Saunders. All of those are very, very difficult fights. I'm telling you guys right now, there's no way I see Gennady Golovkin fighting against what we just seen tonight, Jermell Charlo. This is one of those predictions I pray to God I'm dead wrong in, because I would love to see that fight come to fruition. You know, for the fans that will try to defend Gennady Golovkin and they would actually encourage him to avoid tough competition and just retire, because trust me, a lot of people that are watching this video right now that support Gennady Golovkin, they are praying to God that he does not fight Jermell Charlo, because they fear that Jermell Charlo is a better fighter than Golovkin and will beat Gennady Golovkin, will be the first person to put a blemish on his record, a real blemish. But of course, they're not going to admit or confess to that. They're going to stay on code. They're going to use the typical Golovkin talking points, which is, oh, you know, he's already 36. There's no reason for him to fight that level of competition, etc., etc., etc. Let me ask you guys a question. Let me give you a scenario. Let's say Floyd Mayweather, he never beat Diego Corrales. He never beat Manny Pacquiao. He never beat Mosley. He never beat Genaro Hernandez. He never beat Canelo Alvarez. And I'm only naming a few. Let's say he never fought any of those fighters. But he was known for beating Angel Manfredi. And the biggest win that Mayweather had on his resume was against Ricky Hatton, but that was a close split decision that was controversial and could have went either way. Do you think anyone would be saying that Floyd Mayweather is the best fighter of this generation? Do you think that people would even be looking at him as anything special if that was how his resume looked? Imagine if Sugar Ray Leonard, if he never fought Hagler, Hearns, Duran. The only name he had on his resume was against Wilfredo Benitez. And that was a highly contested match that was controversial. And that happens to be his biggest win. How would he be perceived? How would Sugar Ray Leonard be received? Not like a great, right? He'd be a Hall of Famer, sure, but he wouldn't be looked at as a great fighter. This is the situation that Gennady Golovkin is in, guys. I mean, if you think about it, if Gennady Golovkin would have had the confidence that he could beat special fighters, and he really, really wanted to be considered one of the greats or just a really special fighter of this generation, by now, let's just say hypothetically, if he could win these fights, a super hypothetical, if Gennady Golovkin would have fought the opponents that called him out up until this point, he would have Andre Ward on his resume. He would have Edeslani Lara on his resume. He would have James DeGale on his resume. And let's throw in the fighters that he has right now that are his mandatories. Imagine if he were to beat a Jermell Charlo, a Danny Jacobs in a rematch, with him already beating fighters like Andre Ward and Edeslani Lara. Do you know how great that would make Gennady Golovkin look? But Golovkin didn't do that, did he? Instead of being known for beating those type of fighters, Golovkin will be known for beating, or I should say dominating. He will be known for dominating fighters like Lemieux, Adama, Marco Antonio Rubio, because these are the big names that he dominated. In terms of big names that he faced, you can't even include Danny Jacobs because that is a controversial decision, right? A lot of people believe Danny Jacobs won that fight. A lot of people also believe Golovkin won the fight, but it's highly contested. And then you have the same situation with Canelo Alvarez. Gennady Golovkin does not have a big name opponent where he beat them like Floyd beat Diego Corrales, like Sugar Ray Leonard beat Hearns, right? He doesn't have those type of wins. And if anyone wants to use his age as an excuse why he didn't fight these fighters, the facts are the facts, that he didn't beat him. And it doesn't change how your resume looks once you decide to retire. So let's see if Gennady Golovkin fights some of his mandatories, moves up to 168, or just retires. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. Make sure you guys tune in to the radio show tomorrow, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern. We have special guest, the Beast, undefeated Andrew Tabiti. He'll be in the studio. We're going to be talking more about this Jermall Charlo's performance that he just put on tonight. Adrian Broner versus Vargas. Tank. We'll have a full panel, and you guys can call in and join the conversation. That's all I got for now, guys. It's the nation, baby.